If you're a life insurance agent or a financial advisor looking for the latest marketing strategies in 2023, I encourage you, hang in there. We're going to get started in just a moment as we let people into today's webinar.
How would you recommend in 2023 to build up like social media, a community behind it, get people really involved so that you're getting that kind of, you know, you're going to say produce content, aren't you? Yeah.
I mean, you know what the funny part is of like my world is what I talk about in business is similar to the way people talk in health and fitness. Everyone's walking around saying, how do I get into better shape or feel better? Let me save you time. You eat better. You get your protein ratios up. You don't eat as much sugar and carbs and all that dog shit. You eat cleaner. You go to the gym. You work on building up your strength. Everyone, the formula is super simple. There's nobody here that doesn't understand how to get into better physical shape. Doing it is hard.
Yeah.
The number one way in 2023 to get a board game from 15,000 to 1 million is posting 4 times a day on TikTok with different creative that shows the game, 3 to 4 times on Instagram, 4 times on YouTube Shorts, 3 times on LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Meta. Awesome. Organic content on social networks at the highest level that you can output is going to give you what you want. I mean, that brand is the ultimate way to sell, right? Like brand over everything. The reason most people that focus just on math and ads don't build the biggest things in the world is because the art and the communication and the emotion always outflanks the math. You need the math. Math is massively important. I'm obsessed with it. And brand means storytelling and good intent and content with no expectation of a transaction in return on that day.
And just so I can repeat it, it is storytelling and content with no expectation of receiving a transaction that day. And that takes the pressure off of you because we always think, I need to think of the right thing to say. I need to think of the right reply. How do I ask them to get into my calendar or schedule an appointment so we can get together and we can talk about them being interested in what I have to sell or to service? And the reality is people can sniff that out a mile away. It's like multi-level marketing. Everybody knows who in the room is doing it. Everybody knows on LinkedIn who's reaching out to you, and all they want to do is pitch their service. The secret, if you heard it, was you got to be persistent and passionate about, and not transactional, about reaching out to people with no expectation of any transaction that day. Just do the work. You do the work and you put in the numbers will translate into natural sales. You will draw people to you without even having to ask. If you just put in the work, there is no silver bullet. It's about sheer will, volume, and strategy. Of course, you can put a lot of effort into the wrong strategy and it won't yield. But that's why it's so important that you need to make sure that your marketing is multifaceted on multiple levels. If workshops doesn't work, maybe it's webinars, maybe it's social media, but I'm here to tell you that it's all of it. Just like you heard a minute ago, it's all of it in combination, in accumulation, persistent, passionate, every day. Now, I'm not saying that you should take on all of the strategies that we're going to talk about today, but you will want to develop a volume of different strategies so that they can offset each other and don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. And on marketing, some marketing will help you nurture, some will help you close a sale, and some is like a billboard on a freeway. They're just driving by and they glance up and they see who you are, your logo, and what you do, which helps you endorse your unique ideas of the problem that you solve, and they become familiar with you. As we've said before, it takes 10 to 12 times for somebody to see your brand before they become comfortable enough to want to engage with your brand and potentially want the sale. They want the service. And so what I don't want you to do today is focus on any one strategy, and remember that it's accumulation of the strategies, and your discipline and hard work and ability to execute those on a regular basis. And it is going to take hard work. All right. Well, once you've determined your target audience, then this will help you kind of cut through some of the choices of marketing strategies and maybe select the ones that fit your brand the best. But there is no shortcut. It is just about sheer hard work, consistency, and volume. Success is about choosing the right strategy, or strategies. I should have put strategies. I should have made it plural. And then the necessary sacrifice to win over your audience. And it's not, you can't send one email to 10,000 people and expect that you're going to win. They're going to look you up on social media. They're going to look for testimonials. They're going to look to see if you have an office. They're going to look to see how long your office has been in that location. They're going to look if you have Google reviews, Google My Business. And if and some people may go to Facebook instead of Google. And if you're not on Facebook reviews and you don't have reviews on Facebook, you don't have any testimonials, nobody's vouching for you, you don't have content on YouTube, all of those things will deter your sales. And so it's super important that marketing is a holistic approach that does take time. Remember that your business, we say we're in the business of sales, but you can't be in the business of sales until you've done a successful winning job on marketing, because marketing is what creates your opportunity for a sale. You don't get people in front of you, then how are you ever going to rehearse and practice your sales? Now, if you're so busy with sales that marketing is a disruption to your sales, then good for you. Stick to referrals, stick to networking within your sphere of influence, and that's your unique marketing strategy. But if you don't have the sales that you want, if you're struggling to get to 6 figures as a financial advisor, you're not thinking straight, because it is harder to get to 6 figures. It's harder to get to 100,000 than it is to get to 1 million. I've heard it dozens and dozens of times from our 7-figure advisors that it was much more painful to get to 6 figures or 100,000 than it was to grow their practice 10x to 1 million. So let's take a look at what some of those strategies are. Obviously, digital marketing, that's what we're here for. It's what we specialize in. Financial Advisor Marketing Hub is all about digital marketing. Digital Advisor Weekly, all of it is about, especially after the pandemic, we are in for the most rapid change in our industry than we've ever seen before. Digital marketing and virtual sales is totally disrupting the financial industry. And if you don't embrace it and lean into it, then it's going to pass you by because of all the other people who are leaning into it and embracing that technology. So I encourage all of you. One of the things I didn't include today was actually 2 things, which is artificial intelligence and virtual assistants. Now, I'm not going to go into that, but those are 2 elements that I think are absolutely necessary to every marketing strategy. But let's take a look specifically at the other marketing strategies, starting with the foundation of digital marketing, because wherever they meet you, phone, an event, educational event, dinner, doesn't matter, they're still going to end up interfacing with you on a digital level. And so you really want to be thinking about how you build the foundation of your business as a digital advisor who represent your business, and you build your storefront on the internet as strong or even stronger than your actual physical office. Super important. All right, so content marketing, that's number 2. So we're now at number 2 of 10 in content marketing. And I've been talking about this now here for the last 2 months. We're in a huge shift in the focus of what social media and the search engines are looking for when you create content online. They're really steering away from educational marketing, educational content, and they really want people with new ideas. Because if you're just explaining a 401k, I just looked it up, there's 690,000 social media posts, 690,000 social media posts across all social media platforms this week alone. If people want to learn about a 401k, all they got to do is type it into any browser, any AI tool. They can get the information they need to understand a 401k. That's not what people are engaging with when it comes to new brands and people that they've never met before. What they're looking for is a unique, different opinion or perspective, something that grabs their attention that they haven't heard before, with somebody who is so passionate about that new idea and approach that it grabs and pulls them in and makes them reconsider their current behavior. I like the intro today that talked about, we all know that we need to go to the gym, we need to change our diet, but we don't do it. Why don't we do it? Because we haven't found the right, whether it's a workout or the right motivational recipe or coach or mentor that is going to inspire them to change their behavior, because they know what they need to do. And most people, when it comes to investments and retirement planning, also know what they need to do. They're just not doing it. So the question you have to ask yourself when creating content is why. Why are they not doing what we all know they should be doing? And it all comes down to an inspirational idea. If you can inspire them with an idea to get them to change even slightly their behavior, you will win a new client. So I encourage you to lean in. Also, again, not going to get into it, but use artificial intelligence to help you offset the amount of time it takes to create that unique content. You can take your unique idea and put it into AI with the right prompt. I'd be happy to help you with that if you want to reach out to me after this webinar. But it's very easy to create a 1 or 2 sentence prompt with your unique idea with a little bit of inspiration and passion behind it, and you can create some really, really engaging content. All right, so search engine optimization. Now, the whole, I know everybody's heard SEO, search engine optimization. In reality, all that search engine optimization is that when people search for you, are they going to find you? And how many places are they going to find you? Whether it's backlinks, social media posts, the number of videos you've created, the number of websites that refer people to your website or your social media profiles. Do a quick search. Right now, well, actually not right now. Wait till the end of the webinar, then open a browser. Type in your name, just your name, and see if how much of page 1, what percentage of page 1 do you come up on the results? If there's 10 results, how many of them are you? If you're not a majority of them, you need to work on search engine optimization. And that is just about creating as many doorways and as many open windows for people to find you, your content, your videos, your profiles, your website. And the more you create, the better, because that is your digital storefront. But again, it takes sheer volume. If you heard at the beginning of today's webinar, he was talking about posting like 25 times a day. And I know That's crazy excessive, but the people who want it bad enough. I love the story of Kobe Bryant, who no matter where he was in his career, he would still wake up at 3:30 in the morning and go to the gym, and he would do 2 to 3 hours extra on top of his regular team training. Why? Because he knew if he wanted to be the best, he had to put in more work than his teammates. And so he always put in the daily sacrifice necessary to be the best. All right, that's search engine optimization. Now we're going to referral marketing, and this is super, super powerful. Referral marketing, people will think that this is like, call somebody, get a referral. I'm going to encourage you to lean into the idea that referral marketing is more about developing relationships with center of influence, with people who are a center of influence, whether you're a guest on a podcast or somebody invites you to be a speaker on a stage or at a conference. I would encourage you, if you partner with the right people, whether it's a financial advisor with a tax attorney or an estate planning attorney, a CPA, even one of my best referral partners just happens to be somebody who's very involved locally in the nonprofit world and happens to volunteer for 10 different nonprofits. Now he happens to be a construction company they do roofing. But because he's so involved in the community, everybody knows him. And because everybody knows him, if you just reference his name and that you have a relationship with him, and I share the interview that I did with him, then people are much more likely to go ahead and trust you because somebody, a center of influence, has already earned their trust and they're vouching for you. And so I encourage you to use social media marketing, especially LinkedIn, to develop those relationships where you can drop names and people are willing to vouch for you because you've taken the time to nurture and develop that relationship. Find the most influential person in your town. Don't make them a client. Make them a raving fan of what you do. Take them to dinner, get to know them, and become friends. And again, no expectation of a transaction. Just do the groundwork and develop key strategic relationships, and they will become referral marketing machines for you. And I think that I've said it pretty clearly. That goes back into networking. If you network properly, develop relationships, genuine relationships where you want to add as much value to them as they would like to add to you. You've taken enough interest in them, they want to take interest in you. You can begin networking. And it's really, really easy to do on LinkedIn, because when you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, you get access to all their connections. And we have some really amazing AI tools that will allow you to dig in, not just to because not everybody's connections are true connections where they actually truly know each other as a relationship. And so you can use some AI scraping tools to identify how much engagement your center of influence has had with their connections. And then you can actually search and scrape their most engaged connections with them and then reach out to them. Of course, you have to build a relationship with who you are networking with enough to be able to drop their name and they feel comfortable with you doing that. But you really need to be able to identify those who are true relationships with that individual. If you don't have the AI tools that we offer, I encourage you to just look at posts. Only check out the profiles and the posts of those that are centers of influence you have relationships with, and then see who's commenting, liking, and engaging on their content. And if they have a large following and they have 10 or 20 people that are always engaging on their posts, then those are people you want to drop a name with, reach out to, and try and see if you can connect and develop a relationship. That's all about networking. What's the old saying? It's all about who you know. So I encourage you, develop those centers of influence. They matter, and don't rely on one. You need to get as many as you possibly can. Nurture those relationships on a regular basis. All right, client testimonial. So this is something different than a center of influence, or it's different than a referral. Client testimonial is just somebody who's willing to say in writing the value of what you have brought to their lives. And most people will not voluntarily do this. And if you ask them for a testimonial, it is a burden for them to think, oh, what do I say? And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to mislead anybody, especially when it comes to finance. I don't want anybody to feel like they lose money and then blame me. So I encourage you, you write the testimonial and only do it for those people that you know you have confidently delivered value to. And you can confidently make a statement about the intrinsic value, because we can't claim numbers on testimonials in the financial world. But you can talk about how you changed their life. Without talking numbers or returns or guarantees, you can say, if you know that you helped somebody retire 2 years earlier than anticipated, then that is a true statement that you can make. Put a one-liner together, send it to a client, and just say, do you agree with this statement, and would you allow me to post this testimonial? If they say yes, I'd encourage you to have them, ask them if they would also do a Google. Can I put the same thing on Google, and you select how many stars out of 5? I don't care if it's 3 or 4, but you give me an honest feedback and post the exact same phrase on Google or Facebook. And again, we have a tool with Better Automate that you can do that, or just take the time to be disciplined enough to reach out and do it manually. All you need is a handful. The statistics are, if you have a dozen or more four-star reviews or better, 12 or more, that's all that matters. And then people don't care whether it's 12 or it's 40. But if you can get to 40 on Facebook and 40 on Google, it helps push you beyond the limit of doubt for them, where they feel like enough people have engaged and can endorse what you do. All right, so educational workshops, this is kind of the old school. We've been doing this forever until the pandemic. And we learned the hard way at our company in Southern California when we were doing 95% of our marketing, probably 90% of our marketing was educational workshops. And when that got shut down, holy cow, that was not a fun first 6 months at the closure of the pandemic. We learned our lesson that we needed a multi-channel marketing strategy that just didn't rely on live events or even webinar events, because those were a struggle during the pandemic as well. But they are the cornerstone. And if you have the marketing budget to do them, an educational workshop on average, $5,000 to $6,000. You'll get 40 registrations, 20 to 30 people will show up. You should be able to book appointments with 50% of the room and end up with 10 to 12 appointments. And if you're AUM only, that may be difficult to get a strong return on investment. But if you sell annuities and life insurance, all it takes is 1 or 2 sales to double your money. And so I encourage you, if your average sale isn't $5,000, then you may want to look at your offerings and see if you can add some higher end offerings. And you can do that by create partnerships with other advisors who do much larger average sales, because 50% of a $20,000 commission is much better than you doing 100% of a $2,500 commission. So I strongly encourage you, if your average sale is not 5,000 or more, to look at networking with other financial advisors and life insurance agents in the industry who specialize in an area that maybe isn't your specialty, and partner with them and allow them to help you bring up your average sale amount. Because two sales for every workshop should more than double your investment in any educational workshop. All right, okay, personal branding. This is absolutely key. Without personal branding, you're not going to be able, everything else is going to be less effective. Personal branding just simply means when people think of you, what do they think of? If you're not sure what your personal branding is, ask your 10 best clients or your 5 best clients, and you'll discover very quickly what the common thread is that they think of you. When they think of you, what ideas, strategies, secrets, what do they think of when they think of you that you bring to the table for them that they can't get at the local bank down the corner or from your competition? And if you can't get a clear consensus of that, then you need to work on your personal branding. And we have some coaching that we can help you do with that as well and help you identify that. But storytelling and personal branding is absolutely critical, that you have a clear idea of your motivation behind your brand. What do you want to be known for? Whose lives do you want to change? That's all in personal branding, and it needs to be consistent in all your marketing. If you have to leave one idea with people for the rest of your life, what's that idea going to be? Think about that. Super important. All right, target advertising. So target advertising is for those of you who are willing to invest in your business in marketing. Most businesses will spend 5% in marketing, 5% in advertising. So there's a difference between marketing and advertising. Marketing is what you can do in all of the previous things that we've talked about, except the educational event. But target advertising is where we get into PPC, pay per click. You can do it on Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube videos. It is the newest high-tech and very narrow targeted advertising, so that you can do a much better job targeting exactly who you want to see the ad. You're paying per click. So if you only want it to be seen by moms of homeschool families, you can much more easily find those people when it comes to digital marketing advertising. Again, pay per click on any of the platforms. It depends on your target audience, on which platform you may want to consider, but it's a super affordable way to reach your exact target market without having to do like radio ads that cover all of Los Angeles or all of New York or all of Cincinnati. You can't target. I mean, you can choose a radio station that has the similar interest of the profile of the people that you're trying to market to, but you can't narrow it down any more than that. So it gets very, very challenging and more expensive. So again, targeting your advertising, you can do it digitally much more affordably. Okay, the final one, we're going to wrap up today. Appreciate everybody's patience and time, but number 10 is about compliance and regulations. And the reason I'm finishing with this is because, of course, we all must, well, I guess if you have assets under management, then of course you've got a compliance department. But even with insurance, you still do have regulations. I would hope that everybody in the financial industry would have a fiduciary responsibility. So just please, when it comes to your marketing, don't be disingenuous. Don't make promises that you cannot guarantee. I would avoid making specific claims. Double your income in 10 years, those sorts of things. Stay away from that. It's very disingenuous. It's not compliant with fiduciary regulations. It's definitely not compliance and asset under management. So that's part of your brand, is authentic, an authentic willingness to be compliant and protect your potential prospects and clients. So, okay. So we're going to finish there. But one thing I want to just remind you of at the end of today's webinar is that you don't get overwhelmed. You don't need to do all of these things, but don't do one of these things. Make sure that you're doing as many of them as you can reasonably do and reasonably afford. based on your target market, who is your audience, and what problem do you solve for them that is unique from everyone else. When you get clarity on that, then it'll be very easy for me to recommend which of these 10 things you should participate in, marketing strategies that you should incorporate into your business. And then we can prioritize them from most important to least important. And so if you would like to do that, you are more than welcome. I just talked about this. We can tailor your marketing to your particular niche and target market. So if you would like just feedback, a sounding board, no sales involved, you just want somebody for 15 minutes to give you feedback on what marketing are you doing, what is your target market, what problem do you solve for them, and then I can help you prioritize which of these 10 strategies in 2023 that are trending, that I think from most important to least important, and then just start at the top of the list and work your way down. If you can do 3 out of 10 and it's 2 more than you did last year, then you're making improvements. And so I'm just encouraging you to broaden your marketing and be willing to kind of double down, create more content, get out there and open more doors, more windows for people to find you, and choose one paid marketing strategy that guarantees that you can get people either in a room for a presentation or on your calendar. Those are the things that I think are essential to every advisor and life insurance agent. Hopefully that's helpful for you. If you need any feedback at all, feel free to jump on my calendar, www.schedulewithrob.com. Choose the introductory 15-minute conversation. Be happy to bounce these ideas off. You can bounce those ideas off of me and I'd be happy to reorganize these 10 things for you. So thank you guys for taking the time today. I hope this was valuable to your practice and helps increase your profitability. And you guys take at least one new idea and implement it tomorrow, and you'll see there's hope, there's change. And if you're persistent enough, you'll win.